Hello, everyone. Welcome. We are back again for another Saturday, and this is our last and final session of Claude for Dummies. So good to have you here. Thank you very much for joining. Curious, did anybody get to try the handouts from last week? Anyone? Not yet? Okay. Thank you for joining. Hi, Lisa. Hello, guys. Welcome. We will get started in just a minute. Thanks for joining. Ina, thank you for joining. Hey, Neha. Hi, Salim. Thanks for joining, everyone. This is our last and final session on Claude for Dummies. Of course, we're going to be doing more and more sessions in the future on future Saturdays. But this one we were doing a series on Claude for Dummies, real starting from the basics, and very excited that all of you are here for our final session. Um, so let's get started. My name is Kayuri Anand. Let me quickly share my screen. And if you can keep your cameras on, that helps me see your faces. It feels like I'm talking to people. It keeps this whole thing more fun and exciting for me. I mean, if you're gonna spend your Saturday with me, may as well make it a little bit fun, right? All right, you guys can see my screen. We are here.
Yes.
And thank you very much for joining. Thank you, Cindy, Lisa, Sushil. Thank you for keeping your cameras on. Really happy to see you all here. I see some names from last sessions, past few Saturdays you have been with me. I really appreciate you all joining. Um, all right. So, my name is Kayuri Anand, and currently I work as Director of AI Products at Applied Systems. Fun fact about me is that I don't have a computer science degree, but I've spent the last 15 years building products at the edge of machine learning, traditional SaaS, as well as AI native products in the space of B2B SaaS. And the reason I shared this fun fact with you is because I want you to know that it's possible for you. I mean, I don't know. Actually, it would be cool if you can drop in the chat how many of you are from the tech background and how many of you are actually non-technical professionals, what domain you are in. That would be good information to share. But essentially, the point I would like to share or I want to share is that I am somebody who started with zero technical knowledge and built it over the years. When AI came, it was a massive level set. Even the most technical people, as well as me, we all found ourselves in the same spot with the launch of ChatGPT. And everything that I have learned, I've taught myself. And in doing so, I have been able to build this course to help you do the same. And the whole point of it all is that building and upskilling in AI is the thing that keeps us going in the market, keeps us relevant in the market. And lately, as I'm in this role and I'm hiring more people, I start to realize that AI savvy people actually make more money as well. So, what better reason for us to upgrade ourselves than to stay relevant in the market, really reap the benefits of the productivity gains that this tech gives us, and make more money while at it? Doesn't sound like a bad proposition at all. So that's kind of why I'm here. Over the last three sessions, actually, before we get into it, quick note, cameras on, mic off, lots of reactions and emojis. We have a lot of fun in the chat. As I'm going through the session, there will be a point where we'll build something together. And at that point, I'll be asking lots of questions. Just unmute and answer. And we'll try to do this very collaboratively and learn and have fun. We only have 45 minutes, so we'll move fast. But at the end, you can very much expect to have handouts to take it and do it at your own pace if the pace is too fast for you today. Okay. Every lesson that I teach follows this structure. So we start with a mindset. What this means is what type of mindset, different mental model do we need to adapt to excel in AI? And it's a new technology. So how do we think about this new technology versus how we are used to thinking about it in the past? Then we go into a technical concept that I try to explain in as simplified layman's terms as possible. This part specifically, I tested on my eighth grader, and if I can explain it to him, then I know that I have a decent example. So I will, today's concept is MCP. We're going to talk about MCP. Then we are going to go into our build space. Last week, we built single agent. Today, we are building on top of it. So we're going to be building a multi-agent workflow. And then we'll, like I said, you'll have handouts to take with you and do it on your own time as well. So let's get into it. By the way, this is part 3 of a 3-part Claude for Dummies series. In the slides, you will see the recording for our session 1 and our session 2. So if you have not joined me in the past and you're joining me for the first time today, when the lesson recap is sent to you in email, you will have all of these links. Please go and watch all the previous 2 sessions because this one builds on top of it, and it will just click and make everything make a little bit more sense if you do it that way also. But today, hang in here and we'll get to the lessons. So in lesson 1, we learn how to teach Claude your world, how to give it an understanding of where you are, who you are, what your job is, what are your success criteria, what is your main goals, and how you talk, your voice, all of these things. And we learned how to give Claude an inside look in your world using projects, skills, and connectors. So when we did this, Claude stopped being from like just a chatbot that you put in a query and it gives you a response similar to Google search. It becomes more aware of your surrounding. So the answers become more relevant. They feel more grounded in your world. They feel tailored and customized to your needs and ways of working. Lesson 2, which was last week, we learned the core technical concept of what are AI agents. And essentially, in a nutshell, for those of you who are just joining me today, an agent is something that you can give a goal to and it operates and does things autonomously using the AI technology. That's the main difference. So everything else that we have used to with software interactions in the past, we use software to do our jobs better, like whether it's Microsoft Word or it's Excel, any type of software you can think of that you've used historically has been to help you do your job more better, easier, faster, moving from paper into sheets and stuff like that. Agents are a level up on that, by meaning that you can actually just tell agents a goal, like I want to post a blog, and agent will go and do the behind, it will plan what needs to be done, then it will take those steps that need to be taken and actually execute on the goal that you gave. It can also self-assess and it can self-grade to see how good it did the job and if it needs to improve, and it can do that again. So that's basic premise of what an agent is. I go a little bit more technical in the recording, so feel free to watch that as well. So today we are talking about how to combine the context, the data, the world in which you live in, and how to give that to agent by way of this thing called MCP. It's something that Anthropic, the company that made Claude, built. And I'll go into more detail on how that works, but that's kind of the plan today. So how do you combine these two? How do you combine the knowledge of your world, your company information, your data, your Google Sheets, your Excel spreadsheets that you work in every day and give it to the agent so it can do pretty much what you do operationally. The thinking is still yours, but the busy work that we have to do every day, like copying one information from one sheet to the next or comparing two things and finding details, all of that busy administrative work, you can give it to agents. And then the next thing we are learning today is multi-agent workflow, meaning that if you're doing a task and you have several different steps in getting that work done, how to build agents for each of that step that it can execute the whole thing for you. And I'm going to show you how I use that in my own personal work. And then I have some examples for different domains like marketing, customer support, sales. If you are in any one of those, you can try those out as well. Okay, cool. So, mindset. So, the first mindset step that we want to talk about today is that this idea that instead of worrying about what is the right tool for you to use, start thinking about what is the goal I wish to achieve. So ask yourself every time you want, and this mental model, this little exercise helps me really in shifting this way of thinking and building this muscle of thinking in outcomes versus thinking in tasks. So instead of thinking here's the path that I need to take to get to X destination. Think I need to get to X destination and let AI figure out the best, most optimal path. So think what is the goal first? Then you think what are the steps because each of those steps will become an agent. And then you think which of those steps do you take yourself versus the system does. So we'll get there in a second, and this will whole thing will make sense of how we do workflow design. But the main when you start thinking in outcomes, right, be very intentional about the outcome you are looking for. You will start to think of using AI to get to the goal as opposed to thinking I want to draft X document. Keep asking why am I drafting this document, what's the actual end goal. So the old way is AI is just another tool in your stack. Claude is for writing. You can use ChatGPT for summaries. That's the old way. There are different tools for images. Now, the new way is you're going to tell the AI what you want to achieve and let it figure out the best way to get there and guide you through that. So that's kind of the mental model. So key rule of thumb here, every time you try to use any piece of software, think to yourself, stop for a second and think, what is the end goal I'm trying to get to with this? And then you work, that just helps you build that muscle and helps you think in terms of outcome. Okay. So now we're transitioning to the concept of MCP. This thing is called Model Context Protocol, and I'm going to shift to my whiteboard really, really quickly because we're going to do a quick exercise that we usually do together. And yes, somebody mentioned that it's not a whiteboard, it's a blackboard, and that is totally cool. Okay, 1 second. Let me quickly share my screen, and I want to show you what an MCP is. So there are a couple of things. Last week, we talked about connectors. Connectors is a way in which you can connect your Claude to the tools that you work on, right? Your day-to-day things that you use every day. Today, we are talking about this idea that we're going to start using this thing called MCPs. And MCP essentially is something that Anthropic built, and it's called Model Context Protocol. Sounds very techy. Essentially, what it means is there is the AI model. you are going to give it context to do more work. And this is the way you do it. So think of this as a socket, right? A socket in the wall and a plug um, that you want to insert in it. So Anthropic built the socket, and then you can put different plugs in it, right, to give different types of information. So you can connect it to Google Drive, you can connect it to your Zoom, you can connect it to your Word documents. Basically, MCP is nothing but a very structured, secure, and safe way to share your data with the model so the model understands your world. That's essentially all that it is. Um, and the main reason why they built it is because when we're doing company work, like how many of you here have access to any of these tools, such as Copilot or Claude, but it's extremely constrained, like you can't give it company information. First of all, how many of you actually have access to some of these tools through work? Quick raise of hands. Yeah. So Susanna, Kavya, Anna, lots of you, right? Sangamesh. Many of our companies are going in this direction where they are opening up access to some of these tools to almost everyone. But at the same time, companies are worried that their proprietary data is going to be given to these model companies and it's going to be used to train the models. They're basically worried for their own proprietary data and security and privacy, right? How many of you actually can't upload whatever you want in these models, even though they are given, you have access to these tools, but you extremely constrained to use some of these tools, right? So Suzanne is saying, I work in HR, so our ability to upload data in this system is quite limited. Of course, right? Because you're working with PII and stuff like that. So what Anthropic did is they said, okay, we know that this is a problem. We know that obviously, if we want to use these tools with individual people, like my private data, only I have to decide. But when it comes to companies, they have a higher bar, more regulation to keep the PII and the data safe and secure. So the bar is higher, which means that we need to provide them a secure tunnel to transfer this data between the model and the company and still keep it within the company's realm so it doesn't go out. Um, and so they decided to build what we call MCP. And MCP is essentially a plug in a socket kind of a paradigm with some of the most commonly used tools, such as you will see your Google Drives, you will see a lot of the like Looker dashboards, Datadog dashboards, any types of business uh, tools that you use in your companies. Many of the most popular ones have MCPs, and the whole point of it is to allow Claude to work with your company's proprietary data in the most safe and secure manner. Um, and so that's why, basically, that's why Anthropic built these to allow you to make these connections. And these connections are great if you can use them to actually improve your productivity, right? The whole point of allowing these connections is so people like us who work in these companies can actually use the data with Claude, the capability of the model combined, and build workflows, accelerate our own productivity to do our jobs. Cool so far? Everyone with me? Any questions? I'm going to take two questions if you have any, especially about MCP and anything in this space that didn't make sense before we move on to workflows. Okay. Looks like I landed it because I did see some nods. So I definitely haven't put you all to sleep, which is excellent. Okay. So let's now look at what is the whole point of using these. What is a workflow? So um, next, in the next section, I'm going to give you an example of what a workflow is, and then we can do an exercise to take one or two examples from you guys to actually build this and break this out together for something that you do before we go into actually demoing this on on Claude. So let's look at the goal, right? We said we want to start with the goal. So we're going to set the goal. Um, Here's how we think about things in the workflow, and then we'll take an example. So you set the goal. What's the end target? Then in the workflow, you have your agent one. So whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, your agent one, if there is an aspect of research like find and filter information, you have the research agent that does the finding and filtering of information. Then you have agent two. Um, Shristi, I see your message. Let me answer that at the end. Okay, so the second one is right. So based on the goal, you have a research agent, then you create a right agent. The right agent is, and these are generic agents that I'm putting here as an example because most goals, like most workflows, require an element of something to be researched, some kind of information synthesis, some kind of drafting, and things like that. So you draft the output. Vincent's like, no way, you're putting me to sleep. Vincent, you could. Okay. Then agent three, here's the third agent that we said can actually self reflect. Can you guys see my screen, by the way? Or no? You can,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes.
Um, then the third agent is the review agent, which is basically your quality assessment. It's going to check whether the work that it has done is done to the criteria you set in the goal. It's going to measure itself against the bar that you have set for it. Then you can have this step called approval. This is where you come in. Little bit technical wording may sound jargon, but essentially what it means is we are going to get this work, all of this work done and served up to review and approve. HITL or HITL is what it means, human in the loop. And this is a human in the loop workflow, meaning that the agent does 90% of the work and serves it up to you, the human, to review and approve. If you don't approve, you can send it back. So one example of this, if you've used ChatGPT or Claude, even for asking questions, sometimes once in a while, it will give you two examples, or it will give you a thumbs up, thumbs down button, or it will give you a retry button. These are all examples of human in the loop. So every feedback you give, like every next step you take with these agents, right? If you give it thumbs down, it may ask you, why did you give it thumbs down and things like that. These are different kind of experiences that tech companies are building, but the whole intention behind it is to teach the agent how to do the job better to your liking in the future. So every time you interact with these thumbs up, thumbs down button, you're actually training the agent to do better. So if you come across these next time, take the time to actually give it feedback because it's in your own, like, it'll help you. It'll help the agent get better to help you do your work better. That's kind of the idea. Uh, and that's kind of the workflow here. Next, we are so let's quickly now look at a few examples. So now that you know how to build a workflow, can somebody give me a goal of something that you do on a daily basis that you think is like too tedious, too manual, and you're like, I already go to ChatGPT to do part of this task, but I would love for it to be automated with an agent fully like this. Let's break the workflow down together. Okay. Somebody said, Sumant, okay, that's a great example. Actually, promote yourself. Okay. We love new jobs, right? We all love jobs. So, okay, let's actually do that one, right? So, and Rohit, yours is also cool. Since we have the jobs and the resume one quite a bit, let's actually um do this. So job applier workflow, right? So if we are, hold on. This is actually super interesting. Feel free to unmute now. This is the part where we build this together, yeah? So I won't be looking at the chat. So just please unmute and help me out here. So what is the goal? Somebody tell me the goal.
Finding a matching job for your profile.
Okay.
Step
Finding a
one.
job. Yeah.
Get a
Are
job.
we
Get
find
a
a
job
job?
offer.
Mhm. Find a job.
Find a job or get a job offer. Yeah. Actually, get a job offer is even better because we're not just finding, we want to land it. Let's,
But there are like multiple steps. There's a
yeah,
interview prep,
yeah,
negotiating an offer.
you got it. And that's exactly where we are going with this. So our main goal is get a job, right? That's the main goal. We want to get a job. How do we get to that job? So who said multiple steps? Tell me step one. Let's go. What's the first
Preparing your
step?
resume based on the job description.
Anything comes before that? Tailoring the resume, anything comes before tailoring the resume?
Find
Looking for the
find a lot of
relevant
job
jobs.
descriptions.
Job opens.
There
Yeah,
you
job.
go. Find job posting.
Job listing. Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you find jobs outside of listing boards like that are hidden basically, or you'll get them through networking, which are probably the
There are
most lucrative ones.
there are two
First, we
ways.
need
We'll
to
break down each one of them. So hang in there with me. Step one is find a job posting, right? That's worthy of your application. What happens? Say you found a job posting. What do you do next?
Tailor,
Resume tailor.
Okay.
skill
So
match.
yeah, so tailor your resume. And before you tailor the resume, what do you do? Do you look and see if there is a skill match?
Yeah,
Yes.
we look at
Of
the
course.
job description, JD, and the skills match.
Okay.
Determine
Then
if there is a match.
let's say you tailored the resume. Then what do you do? Then what happens?
find people that work at that company that might be able to help you
Okay. For what purpose?
For
for
referrals.
referrals.
Okay.
Apply. Yeah, but
Okay.
my question is, if there is a one job opening and 300 people apply and they all match their resume to that job opening, the the company will get 300 resumes looking the same. How will they differentiate?
Yes,
That's
and
good.
that's a good point, and that's why we build each of these steps with more nuance than just generic chat GPT usage. So let me get to that point. Hold on that thought. So search people for referrals, right? What do you do next? You found people for referral. What do you do next?
Ask for the referral and then submit the application.
Okay, so you are applying. Um, Application can either happen direct or through referral. Okay. So let's say this is the job applier one. And then you have a separate sort of section of tasks that you're needing to look for is, let's say you got an interview call. Now you're doing interview prep. And in order to do, actually, let's not get to interview prep. In order to do interview prep, first you are doing research, right? You're doing research on the company, you're doing research on the role, Then you're doing interview prep, and this requires what? Mock interviews. Yeah, that's right. Getting an interview call is a big assumption. Um, but let's assume that you're going to get a call at some point and we are building the next step. So that's why I drew a line here that now this up until here, it's a continuous step-by-step process. But once you apply, there is somewhat of a break because you're repeating this process a few times before you get into the next phase, Arun, which is research. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. Which is research and interview prep, and then let's say you, again, this is a second bucket because you're doing interviews, variety of different types of interviews, hiring manager interview and all sorts of different interviews. But let's, in a high level, let's put the buckets here, and then you have your offer negotiation. So again, this is a separate bucket. So now if we are getting started finding a job posting, now we have a workflow, we have somewhat of a workflow that we are going to go. We need an agent that does the search aspect for it. Then, so you have an agent one that is going to do the search aspect for it, for your job. So agent, if we are, now we have this workflow, now we are going to build agents. So the agent one is going to, let's clean
We
this
not
up.
add a practice.
Say that again.
Should we not keep a track of these application? Task to keep a track of application.
Yes, so we can do that in the actual agent. So we can give goals to each of these agents, right? So this agent one, its job is to, why is this? Okay, so agent one is, job is to search, right? Oh my God, sorry guys, this thing is not cooperating today. I think I dropped it and I broke it. Let's see. Otherwise, we'll have to. Okay. Search jobs. So, what does searching jobs actually require? So, searching the job is going to require you to connect your two things, right? You are going to actually give it prompt and instruction on find and filter jobs. And in order to do that, you're going to give it a prompt that says, I am, give me a role. Somebody give me a role that you would be looking for.
Product manager.
Okay, I'm a product manager. Okay. Now you're going to give it more than just that. So you're going to give it your domain. So say if I was to do this, I would say we are looking for product manager jobs at whatever level, right? Principal or staff or senior PM, whatever the leveling is and wherever you fit, you're going to give it that information. You're going to give it in your prompt other information such as your resume, your current resume for it to read. And you're going to give it the types of jobs you're looking for. You're giving it other criteria such as whether you want it remote or not, what geographical area you want, whether you need work visa sponsorship. You're giving it all of these filter criterias, exactly everything that you would filter it by if you were looking for these jobs. Then you are giving, so that's your prompt. You're giving the agent all of these instructions and you're connecting it with the words. So you're connecting it to the different job boards. So somebody was asking, how do you find these jobs aside from job boards? You're not, in a way, with these workflows, you're not reinventing the wheel. Ideally, you are automating your own busy work. So whatever job boards you look at, you would connect it with the with those job boards. If you can do it through connectors, if you can do it through MCPs, you will do it that way. Otherwise, you'll need to give it website. Now, one thing to note with job search specifically, what you could run into areas is things like LinkedIn does not allow you to scrape data. So you would probably be hard to find ways, technically very challenging to find ways for it to do job search on LinkedIn unless you give it screen record your access to your desktop and it's doing it just the way using your mouse control and things like that. Little bit gets into a little bit more technical area of making it happen. But that's one. So connect it with the job boards and it's going to take the jobs, filter them, and present it to you. That's agent one. That's all the agent one is doing. But now you're doing an agent two connection. You're building a second agent that's actually doing a skills match. So what this second agent is doing is agent one is sending it a job posting. So the starting point for agent two is the job posting that agent one gave. It also has your resume and your LinkedIn data. Now, this agent is doing an actual compare side by side and it's giving you, you can prompt it like that. So in the prompt, you can say every time agent one sends you a job posting, compare it with my resume that is stored on file and give me a skills match percentage. And it will give you a percentage skills match on every skill that it has identified as important in the job. So first it will read the job posting, call out a list of 5 or 10 top skills, and it will give you a percentage against each of those. It can then, you build a third agent that tailors your resume. So now you are giving it access to your Google Drive or Word, and you're saying, go to my Google Drive, take a template resume that I have there, and tailor that resume which shows which showcases my top skills. Here it's important for you to put a guardrail for it to not make stuff up. You don't want it to give you a PhD degree just because a job says it requires a machine learning PhD. So that's very important. That's where the how do you use AI in a safe and secure manner comes into play. So you noticed all of this is a combination of giving it the right instructions, so prompting it the right way, and giving it the next information, prompting it the right way, and giving it the correct data information that it needs to do the job, follow the instructions to the T. And you're also in your prompt, in your instruction, you're saying, save the new copy in X folder or Y folder. So when all of this is done, every morning you are coming to that Google folder, looking at the jobs, and somebody said tracking, right? So in this area, in the agent 3 prompt, you would also say, okay, create a tailored job resume. And once you've done that, update this spreadsheet in this Google Drive with the job posting link and the resume that you have tailored for each job. So now you have a track thing for every job, what the posting was, what the resume was. And you can keep updating that spreadsheet after every agent with the steps that it's doing. So you can say, once you apply, make an update also that it's applied and things like that. So the basic groundwork is still yours. It's your system, your process. You're just exposing AI to all of that with the right instruction so it can do what you do and take away some of the busy work. That's kind of the idea. So thank you for helping me walk through that. So imagine now in the all the steps that we have we identified in the last session, like previously, the whole thing about here's the search, then you find the job, then you tailor the resume, then you go and actually do the application. So application point is again where it can get more technical because now you're asking it to go on a website and actually fill out all the information and apply. And that's a step where if I was to offload a lot of this work to my agent, my suite of agents, the actual application, I would probably want to do it myself to make sure it's done right. There are more technical ways like using an open clock connector and things like that to get it to actually do all of that yourself as well. And then you come into the whole series of new agents where you have your job prep, right? So for your own job, you can build a agent that does mock interviews with you. You teach it what are the different criterias. There are agents you can build for system design, to help you prep for system design interview, to help for hiring manager interview. The key with any of these is the type of structure and data you give access to the agent is the type of performance you will get back. So making sure that you're giving it all the data and background information with MCPs and stuff like that is the most sort of important aspect I want to highlight in this short 45 minutes that we have today. Okay, next, let us, and I know we had a lot of questions, so I'll try to go back to some of that at the end, but I do want to show you kind of the demo that I have prepared. So we learned last session, we built our own morning brief agent. So we had one agent that reads Gmail and posts a brief to Slack on how your day looks like. Next, you can actually build a whole weekly leadership operating system. So I do this in my work, and I basically, hold on one second. I do this in my work, and I have this series of agents. One reads granola transcripts, the other one reads my Gmail, the other one reads my calendar, and the other one reads my Google Drive. I also have access to the different work-related boards like Linear and FigJam and things like that to keep all of my sources of work that I normally look at on a Sunday night to prepare for the upcoming week. So I've taught it to the agent and it does that. So that's kind of builds on top of the morning briefing to a weekly prep that we do. So let's actually build that together. Hold on one second. I'm going to let me share my Claude with you guys. All right. Okay. So far, so good. Let's get this started. So here we have, so we were working in cowork last time, and I showed you how to do how to build the morning briefing. Now today we are going to be connecting it with Granola, Gmail, Google Calendar, and things like that. So I want to show you how I'm connecting it through here. You can go to basically, this is the chatbot. Can you guys see my screen? Yes? Give me a thumbs up, someone. Yes, I see nods. Okay, we're good. You're going to go here to the plus button, and you're going to go to connectors, and you can go ahead and connect to these ones with turning this button on. You can also go to manage connectors, and you have a whole bunch of different ones that you can find here and connect depending on, like for my work, I have Atlassian connected because that's what we use. This is my personal one, so I don't have it connected. You can connect it to GitHub, you can connect it to Zoom. You can also go ahead and click Browse Plugin, and here you see a whole bunch of different ones that different companies are providing through different providers. So make sure that you go and look it up, and basically whatever you need, whatever your process is, where you store information, it's connected here. That's step number one. Then once this is done and once this is connected, we are going to go back to cowork and let's build the first agent, which is the granola agent. So remember, in the previous section, I mentioned everything. The secret sauce is the prompt. So the instruction that you give in the prompt is where the actual value lies. So you're going to open, I have my cowork open. I have a new task that I have created here, and we're gonna copy and paste this goal in this first agent, right? So we've done it. We are going to copy and paste. Basically, what we are saying is read all of my granola meeting transcripts from this week, Monday to Friday. For each meeting, extract any decision that were made, actions I personally committed to. And in order for this to work, the important part is that every meeting that I have that I want to be considered in my briefing, the meeting transcription has to be on. If the meeting transcription is not on, then it's not gonna get picked up. So remember that that is necessary. Then you once you're asking, and then you can set the folder in which you want the output to be generated. In our case, we are saying that we want it. We are going to say that we want it to be when you give it this prompt, it's going to create this work here, and it's going to show you the progress, and it's going to show you all the different tools. So I gave it this is the goal, right? I gave it this goal that I wanted to do, and it's going to find the tool and create the task, the result, and the context of and so forth. And we're going to let it work. Look, it's asking me for access, for permission, because I didn't put it permissions completely on. So let's actually build this one together on this Claude version. While it does its thing, so now it's asking me for the dates, the permissions, and things
Hey,
like that.
Yuri. Hey,
Yeah.
hi, Shreya. Could you please zoom in? It's not visible,
Oh,
whatever you're
it's not?
showing.
Okay. Sorry. Thank you for telling me that. 1 second.
I think both the screens are being shared at the same time if you have multiple desktop.
No, I'm actually trying to show you side by side because I want you all to be using these step-by-step guide to do it yourself. But okay, maybe I'll move the other one away so you
Fine,
can.
just zoom in, please. Thank
Let me
you.
just make it bigger. How's this? Better?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, no problem. So now it's basically you know that I didn't have the transcription meeting running, so I'm going to give it notes saying set this up for future calls. And it's going to go ahead and set it up. You're basically interacting with the agent and asking it to set up a schedule. And you see when I said set it up for future calls, it's using this skill called schedule, and it's going to set it up for the future. And it's creating a scheduled task. Now it will hopefully ask me what time I want it to run and what date I want it to run and things like that. Okay, so it's made some assumptions. It's saying every Friday at 5 p.m. this digest will run. It's telling me all the things it's going to consider, which is coming from this prompt that I gave it. And now all I'm doing is I'm saying schedule this. Okay, once I have done this, I'm going to build exactly in the same way. I'm going to build exactly in the same way three other agents that I wanted to build. Once I have built the same other agent for Gmail connection and for calendar connection, now I'm going to, once I've done all of that, in my handout, hold on, let me show you guys the actual handout. So in the the handout, we are looking at the fourth tab here. So you can look at the tabs up top here. Agent 1, we built. Agent 2, we are building in Gmail. Then we're building calendar. And then we have the fourth and fifth agent. So in this one, we are connecting Google Drive, and I'm asking it to actually take the information from all of these three agents, and I'm asking it to flag the issue. So create a summary in the Google Drive, and I'm asking it also to send me this final response every morning on a Slack channel that I have created for myself called Monday Brief. And it's going to run on Sunday night and send me once I paste this priority in that task. It's chaining all of these agents together, and it's creating two things. It's creating a thing in Google Drive where I can read it going forward. So 6 months from now, when I'm doing my performance review or something and I want to see what I achieved or what I did, I'll have a weekly recap of everything that I had done. And every Monday morning, I just look at Slack and it's going to tell me what my day looks like. And it gives a sample output like this. So it will tell me the week 3 scorecard of all the different examples or all the different top of mind tasks, meetings, things that I have to focus on this week. And that has been really helpful. These are some examples because I can't really share the company data that I have. But here's an example of how this has been working for me. And I'm hoping that it can work exactly the same way for you. So in the handout, in the slides, there are two different handouts. So one is to build this whole weekly brief for you, which I'm hoping that you will follow step by step. If you get stuck, reach out to me on LinkedIn. I really want to make sure you're able to do this and get this generic end-to-end. It's generic because you can personalize it based on your feedback and how you do. But the other most important thing is same thing in the slide. You have another handout, which is an example of your personal AI team. So depending on what domain you are in, you can build your own research. You can build a few different ones. So if you're in sales, you can build a sales predictor using your support tickets, flags, complaints, things like that. You can build a market research agent. You can, if some folks are from product, if you're in product and you need to do a competitive intel, you can build competitive intelligence agent. These are some generic examples, and the whole point in building this handout is for you to be able to customize and tailor it for your own needs. And the reason that is really helpful is because a lot of this is very nuanced, and what matters is if you can use it for your own uses or not. So learning the tech is one thing, but until you can actually apply it in your own area and domain, it gets really that's where you start to see the real value and the real unlock of what we were talking about, right? The career leverage and the ability to do move up in the role or ability to find jobs. So all of that to say that in 45 minutes, we're actually way beyond. I'm really sorry about that. We went 10 minutes over, but hopefully it was helpful for you guys. Please try these handouts and reach out to me on LinkedIn and let me know. If you want to build your own operating system like this, like how I have it, in your own tailored way, personalized and like a little bit more hand holding than I can provide in an hourly call, that's why I built this course. The whole purpose of the course is to help you map your own workflows and then personalize Claude to your own liking, and then automate your own skills, create your own skills, create your own agents, similar to what we did right now, and actually put all of this together so it's like an actual system. And the whole point, like, why bother doing any of that? So my main outcome is literally that, right? Like, it helps you show up at work as the most tech savvy person at work, most AI native person at work. And I've seen this play out thousands of times I've been teaching for the last 3 years in this job market, in this economy. Being AI savvy doesn't just mean that you save hours, but it also kind of means that you are irreplaceable. And if you do get replaced because there were layoffs or something, finding a new role is easier. Like I'm looking at hiring in my own company, and AI savviness is like the top skill that we are looking for. And if you are there, then 30 to 40% more pay band is not unheard of. So there's like real value, real financial outcomes, real job outcomes, and real time saving, of course. So that's kind of the hope that helping you get AI savvy in 4 weeks really gives you that unlock, that leverage that you need to excel in whatever domain, whatever field you are in. And this seems to resonate really well because we launched the course enrollment, I think, a couple of 3 weeks ago, and 60% seats are already sold out. I'm doing limited seats because I really want to be able to handhold everyone. So once the seats are full, like I'm not in the area where I want to run 100, 200 people cohort. So very limited seats. If you're interested, then go for it. The information would be here. Aside from that, there are other ways to keep connected. Like I mentioned, my LinkedIn is here. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. And if you try this out and you get stuck, please reach out to me. I would love to help you. If you are successful and you choose to post about it on LinkedIn, also tag me. I would love to know. This is my one way of staying in touch with you. Once you join the course, you will be able to talk to me, have direct access to me through a Slack community that's for our paying students. And I do career strategy calls, one-on-ones with students who are enrolled in the course. So if that's something that is of interest to you, I will see you in that Slack channel. But other than that, here's how you can keep learning more from me. And I know we are literally 15 minutes over, but this was a really power pack session. There was a lot to do. So I'm glad that you stayed with me for the whole time, and I look forward to keep seeing more and hearing more from all of you. And quick note, although I say I'm here every Saturday, same day, same time, week over week, we are not doing a session next Saturday. It's 4th of July, it's Independence Day, so it's a holiday here in the US, and I hope that you get to enjoy time with your family too. So thank you very much for joining. I will take questions. So you're welcome to hang around if you want to hear questions or answers, but content-wise, those were the main things that I wanted to land today, and I'm really glad that you not only joined me, but stayed with me for the full 1 hour. I really appreciate your time, everyone. All right, let's do questions. Sumant, go ahead.
Hey, thank you for this. I had two questions. One is you mentioned about being AI tech savvy for the roles. So it's such a big word right now. So what do you really mean by that? And
Yeah.
second thing is I like the way you created that Claude AI, uh, the handout or the project. So any tips on how to create that so that we can build our profile for instead of just sending a resumes in these job
Yes.
hunt, I can just attach this as a website and list down all my projects.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So what I really mean by I believe I said AI savvy. I didn't say tech savvy, but the main
Yeah,
difference
AI,
is,
sorry.
yeah. So main difference, tech savvy meaning to me is like I can read code, I can write code, I can code and build software by
Right.
myself, and I understand system design, all of that, right? Being AI savvy, truly what it means is being able to use these tools to really leverage it for your own productivity. So trying to automate a lot of the busy work that you do, not because you want AI to replace you, but more because you found this massive unlock, this leverage, this ability to save more of your time to do what you were actually trained to do. if you went to college, you have a degree, you did that to learn a specific skill. And certainly not requires you to spend time in spreadsheet cleaning information.
Right.
If you're, for example, like what domain are you in, Sumant?
I'm a product manager.
Okay, so what is your main mandate? To talk to customers and figure out what's the right feature to build that will help
Correct.
the customer, right? Now you're trying to do competitive intelligence. You're trying to see what's going on in the market, what are competitors doing, stuff like that. That takes time, right? How much time do you currently spend doing competitive intelligence, like looking at market?
Yeah, that's the most part of it, actually.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, if you can build an agent that does competitive intelligence, not just like once a month, because
Right.
in order to do that, you really need at least 2, 3 days or a week, even depending on what space you are in and how much market information is available. But if you can unlock and you can actually build an agent that runs a competitive scan every weekend to scan your competitors' websites, their release notes, all of their public facing available information, Reddit post which talks about their pros, cons, whatever. Now you have a much faster synthesis of that data, and you didn't spend time gathering data. Instead, you can spend time looking at the data gathered and the synthesis AI has done to make your own decision. The decision is still yours, whether or not you
Right.
build a feature, right? Whether that feature that you want to line up aligns with your company's strategy. Those nuanced decisions are still yours, but you're automating some of this busy work by building these agents. So
Correct.
that's kind of what I wanted to do in the course. And it's very hard to do these nuanced, personalized things in 1 hour. So I figured, build a course where we can give real hand holding direction. So that's one.
Right.
That's what I really meant by AI savvy is to these tools are very powerful. And if you don't know how to use them to the best advantage, then you're leaving a lot on the table. That's what I
Yeah.
meant. Right. The second thing is how can you build? So I use Claude, and the HTML that I built, my process is I talk through, I have an idea of what I want to teach in a session and what I want to run. So the first idea is always mine. Then I feed it to Claude in terms of my teaching notes, which I dictate to a Google Doc and I feed it. And then I tell it to help me build this. And I iterate a few times back and forth, like, I don't like this, I like this. And when it's done, I ask it to build a publishable artifact. And literally, that's my prompt. Now, convert this into a publishable handout that I can give to students. And it generates this. So Claude's really good at doing that.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that small tip that publish because I didn't know that we could publish our HTML so that can be shared. So that was a key thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want more time of yours, Keo, but I'll send out a LinkedIn invite. Please look out for my invite and we can have this chat going on. Thank you very much for your time.
You're very welcome, Suman. Sangmesh, go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for your insightful session. And two questions for me is like building the workflow of multi-agents, like adding more agents, will it add any lapse time or latency for the performance issues there? Will it lead to any performance or time bomb?
Typically, yes. The more kind of complexity you add, it adds to latency because there is processing time. These ones are designed to run asynchronously, right? You saw the prompt, it's going to run on Sunday night. So a lot of Claude Coworks processes run asynchronously if you put it on a schedule. So I'm not really concerned about latency for this, something like this. Of course, if for a company, if you're building a product that's multi-agentic, latency is a concern. And the way we think about that is try to do whatever you can in a rule-based manner, and only make LLM calls where you absolutely have a upper hand by using an LLM in your product. And that there are other technical things that you can do, like batch the calls and things like that to address latency. But yes, short answer is it will add complexity. More agents you add, and it's not even more agents. If you add more steps if you combine all of these to one agent and add 5 steps in an agent, it will still add more latency to it. The problem with doing that route, like building one agent with 5 steps, is that it gets harder to debug. That's
Yes,
why separate agents are easier.
because I work on a payment domain where we look for a payment as fast as possible, where timeout issues are being reduced in just a milli or microseconds. So I just relating it to my work and see, like, understand. Thanks for this answer.
No problem. Suzanne, go ahead.
Again, thank you, Kelly. This session was fantastic. So appreciate you sharing your wisdom with us. So my question is, I have a leadership development program that I'm going to be building, and that instructional design can be very tedious, as you know, to like build the content and build the facilitation guide and build the handouts, and it's a very labor intensive process. And I'm mostly familiar with just using ChatGPT and giving it prompts and getting information back. Can I use Claude to go search the internet? Like, let's say I'm teaching a module on, important communication skills for managers. Can it go out and find that information for me about what are the 3 most critical things? Can it build like practice sessions for me? How much do I have to already have of my own IP or content it references versus it can go out into the web and find it for me and then do that build? I'm just curious about that, because the examples you showed was lifting off of a lot of your own things. And
So let me tell you, short answer, yes, it can definitely go out in the world and do the research. Where you can leverage it by themselves, like what you said, how much of your own. What I do is I give it template, so every session looks cohesive, right? I have the template that I told you in the beginning: mindset, concept, hands-on, demo, and then handouts. That's my template. So all of that I have fed Claude because I want consistency. Everything that comes out should look good. But my process, it is tedious. It takes at least 5 hours to build. 5 hours of thinking research time to build a session like this. The good part is I don't spend 5 hours building slides. I don't spend 5 hours building handouts, but the thinking is still there. The research is still there. So my process is I literally just talk to Claude and tell it what I want to teach it in a more talking manner. Use voice better than type when you're doing brainstorming. So I use the voice capability and I say, here's what I want to teach. Now go out and research. Here's how I want to land it. Here's my target audience. So concept specifically, I say I want to teach it to an 8th grader. So make it as simple as possible. Help me give me analogies. I already have some analogy in mind, so I'll share that with Claude, but all of that through voice conversation. And then it goes out in the search on Google, finds other examples, and it gives me like a lesson plan. And I iterate on that at least 2-3 times. Then I sleep on it and I come back to it the next day and I iterate on it. You know the creative process, right? And instructional design is just a very creative process. But that's kind of the way it goes. And eventually, when I'm good with everything, then I'll say, okay, build slides, build handouts, and that's really fast then.
Okay, great. Is this something I could work on inside of your program?
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly what the program's designed for, right? Because like what Suman said, he wants to do competitive research. I cannot teach different variety in 1 hour, but the whole course, the way it's designed, I have exercises that you can do to self-reflect and figure out what you want to do with it, and then you build it. We have mentors and myself, so we help you build your own system to automate it. Definitely, that's the whole point of doing it in a longer format and more, because then I can dedicate more time to personalizing, and these weekend sessions are for generic information that applies to everyone.
Right, sure. Thank you, Carrie. That's
Suzanne.
Fantastic. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Vijaya, go ahead. And then Kiki, thank you for your patience. I will be with you in just a second. Go ahead, Vijaya.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Hey, so my question is around, I think someone else also has a similar question, like going back to the job search, right? So someone asked, like, how can we stand out in these hundreds of applications, given that everybody is doing AI, resume tailoring and whatnot. So how do we like really stand out and not look like AI slop at the same time?
One if you haven't seen my first session, go watch the recording. In that, I teach it how do you use AI to teach your own voice, tone, and language. So whatever it generates, right? Your resume tailoring, your any content, not just resume, but interview stories, everything. It speaks in your tone, in your language. That's one. So telling AI to customize and tailor it to your tone and your language is one aspect of it. The second aspect is to actually really lean into your strengths, and that requires a little bit more than just telling Claude what to do. That's a whole introspective strategy for your own career thing, right? Like, I choose to not go FANG. I choose to stay in B2B SaaS because I know that I have 15 years of experience. That's my superpower. I choose to operate in a specific area, which is my own. That's my leverage, right? So you have to find your leverage, and that requires more than just teaching Claude how to generate a resume. That probably requires you introspecting on what your strengths are. You can certainly use Claude as a thought partner. We talked about that in the second session on how to use Claude as a thought partner.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. I'll go back and refer to that. Thank you.
Yeah. Kiki, go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, thank you so much, Kiyuri. I just jumped on this. Like I just heard about this like yesterday, so I'm like way behind, and I just want to thank you for making it so simple in your explanation. Because now I see AI not as this big horrible behemoth, but kind of like the difference between using a wooden spoon to make cake and using an egg beater and a mixer that you can plug in. That's all it is. It's just one is just going to take longer than the other, but it's the same thing. So now it's demystified. My question is, most of the people here have more corporate leaning positions or uses for creating AI. Mine is more creative. I work in film and television industry. So it's a little different because IP is such a very big issue because that's how you make your bread and butter off of your IP creatively. So I wanted to learn in a sense, like with your training and the things that you offer, how does Claude can use for creatives, people who use their who would need AI strictly for creative things, and what I guess I don't know the particular tools that are available for my space. Like we have to create pitch decks and we have to create script summaries and those things. And chat can do some of those things, but not all of them. And I really wanted to maximize that and then possibly use that as a service to consult other creatives and create a suite of services, if you will. So I can not only help a creative executive or development executive, or say like of a film, not only can I help you create pitch decks and summarize screenplays for you, but I can also show you how to pinpoint certain things going on in the market so you can get a jump ahead of the competition to pitch your project. So I really wanted to learn how to use those tools, how to aggregate all this different information that's out there and create a system that I can use as a business. So I won't have to do a job posting, but I really love that example because I'm like, oh, I could do that. This is a workflow. Oh my God. So I just want to, I know I'm all over the place, but hopefully you understand what I'm saying. Yeah.
You're good, Kiki. First of all, I'm going to use that analogy that you mentioned, wooden spoon and egg beater, in one of my future sessions. So look out for that. That was a good.
I want some coin. I need some coin.
So now think about Claude, right? And all the things that you can do with it. Even in your creative, I want you to think about what is the goal, the outcome, right? Similar to what we said. So if your outcome is a pitch deck, it's not that far off from what I do as a product manager. I also create pitch deck. My audience is different. My tone, my language, my what I convey in those pitch deck is different, but the actual artifact is still the same. So if Claude can create a pitch deck for me as a product manager, it can create a pitch deck for you as a creative. The difference or the secret sauce is in. So I highly encourage you to look at the two recordings that I was just mentioning. It is in the slide deck. Session 1 recording is where I teach you how to make it your own. So how it differs from, I use product manager example because I'm a product manager, but how it will differ for you is in the context file, instead of saying I'm a product manager, this is my product, this is my competition, all of that, you are telling it about you, that I'm a creative, here's what I do, here's what a script looks like, here's what good looks like, here's how I write, here's few samples of my writing, here's a few sample of my perfect pitch deck. The more content, the more context you give it about your life, the better it gets at impersonating you. And then the ability to generate a slide, ability to generate a website, those are inbuilt technical skills that Claude has. If it can do it for one, it can do it for any domain and anything. So that's why I want to do it in a course like this, where we are doing week one is literally just introspecting your own workflows and figuring out what are things that you do that are repeatable, that you would love to use this technology to automate. Then week two is building those artifacts so Claude can understand who you are. Then step three is actually figuring out the workflow and actually building some of these agents. And then week four is putting everything together. So you have some real tangible things that you can start using from that day forward. And in the community, then you keep building after that and you come back in the community for help if you need. That's kind of the plan.
Thank you so much.
No problem, Kiki. I look forward to seeing you because I think we could really use a creative in the course. Takes us away from all the product management stuff all the time. All right. You guys, a lot of you are still here. Took way too much time from you than I came here for. So thank you so much for staying. Remember, next Saturday we don't have a session, but the Saturday after, same time, 9 a.m. PST. I will see you all. Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Jody. Thank you so much.
Bye. You're very welcome. Bye.